What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. I was going through a little bit of stuff earlier. I have my pond decoy that I'm taking care of, and the heat wave over here where I'm at just yeah, they had a really hard time. I ended up losing most of the koi that I had in my little school, so I was kind of like going through that, taking care of the fish that are still left in there, trying to make sure they're good and getting all the other stuff taken care of. I haven't really had a chance to post in a couple days, but I'm back. Want to do a quick little video. This list isn't really something to take too seriously, but something I've been wanting to put together for a while. So I guess this is my list of my top 10 monsters that are one card answers to multiple different things. So a lot of them are gonna follow the same the same spirit of this card right here, but also some of them are kind of like deviate. So right here, for number 10, we're gonna start off with Empyreon Magnum, the superconductive battle bot. So we're gonna avoid all the extra fluff and just get right to what we're talking about here. So it has effect where it says once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap or monster effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So pretty self-explanatory. What depending on like pretty much negates almost anything. The fact that it just specifically names spell, trap, cards, and monster effects is the reason why it's here on the list. There's not there's a couple like I didn't want to just put like solemn judgment like negate a whole bunch of different things. I don't want to really do something like that. Just kind of pull a couple of different cards and maybe create a little bit of a different list. So number 9 here I have Ultimate Providence. When this card first came out, I was actually really excited for it. I thought it was going to be very good. Even though in practice it's not as good as it's going to sound. So let me read the effect. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, discard the same type of card, monster, spell, or trap, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So just on face value, it pretty much looks like the trap version of Macabre, which you would think would be really good. Just if you set it up, have two cards in your hand, you have this, you have two negates. It sounds good, but in practice, it's just not. It's not as effective as Macabre. With Macabre, you have that it's a 25 beater, so it has like that extra utility to kind of give you an ability to destroy things by attacking it or to protect you a bit. It's pretty beefy, so yeah, this card doesn't work as hard as Macabre, but it's on this list because of its wording right here. So at number 8, I have Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. So this one's going to deviate a bit off of what I said earlier, but the reason why this card is here is because it's a one card. It's basically its effect. It's one card that could take care of 3 specific things. So that's another thing that I have. That's another theme for these cards. So its effect reads, when a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, you can discard this card, negate the activation. And if you add cards from the grave to the hand, deck, or extra deck, special summon a monster card from the graveyard, or banish a card from the graveyard. If you do any of those 3 things, this card could be discarded as a quick effect and negated. That's I've this card is not as popular as the next card on this list, but every now and then it comes in as a very clutch card in the format. So at number 7, I have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. You pretty much figured she was going to be there. She is one of the best cards. She's one of the best one-card answer to multiple different problems. Her effect reads, when a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card and negate the activation. Add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the graveyard. Now, she's a little bit better than than her, just because like she could be used to stop things from happening to where the Ghost Bell needs to most likely is going to be reacting to something. So so if you want to just stop your opponent, she's obviously the better one. But there are situations where she actually she is superior, because she does have the ability to negate the activation. So that means there's certain windows to where she can negate something, to where in Ash Blossom there are times where Ash Blossom can't negate things. So that's, I guess, that's a bit of a plus. So alright, sorry about that. Number 6, I have number 16, Shockmaster. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh since pretty much since the beginning, since it came to the States, but I didn't really get competitive until 2012. Took a hiatus in high school, and when I came back, Shockmaster was like this really good card. And I remember when I first got my hands on it, I was just impressed with how oppressive it was. So this card is a rank 4 XYZ Fairy effect monster. It needs 3 level 4 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card to declare 1 card type, monster, spell, or trap. That type of card, if spell or trap, cannot be activated, or if monster cannot activate its effect until the end of your opponent's next turn. Back when Yu-Gi-Oh was just way slower and it wasn't as fast as it is now, because now it's like if you take away the monsters and your spells could probably get you there. If you take away the spells and your monsters might be able to get you there. And then you also have things like infinite impermanence, which automatically outs this card. So yeah, I guess now it would still be strong. I'm not saying it could come back. That'd be cool to see it come back, but it would be it would suck. It would be bad if it came back. But there are more answers to it now, so it wouldn't be as bad as to where when it was first released. Man, like you went first, called spells. There was almost nothing they could do. You went second, called traps. Unless they were negating the effect or the summon, you were fine. You just put the OTK on the board and then go on with your day. Though another choice on this list, this one right here, I forgot that this card existed. When I read it and I'm like, oh yeah, Drytron was using this, and then I read the full effect and I'm like, oh my god, Drytron uses this, Jesus. So a more factor paying the imagination Draco Overlord. We're gonna skip the fluff. And yeah, we're gonna skip this. Your opponent skips their next main phase. Like, yeah, that's just broken if you ritual summon this. But let's see. So the reason why he's on the list because his effect reads: negate the effects of face-up fusion, synchro, and XYZ monsters while they are on the field. If this card, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna skip the next part. So he's on the list because he has the ability to negate fusion, synchro, and XYZ monsters while he's face-up on the field. That's actually pretty good, especially like right now you got like Tier Elements and Sprite, those are like the 2 best decks, and the fact that he stops fusions and XYZ monsters, those are pretty much the 2 main ways that, well, for Tier Elements it's fusion, and for Sprite it's the X. I mean they do have Elf, but XYZ monster, the gigantic Sprite being stopped, that's actually a pretty big thing. So yeah, I mean, he actually, if you're able to get him down, protect him, he's actually, pretty good. Alright, so at number 4, I have Prohibition. So here we're getting into more to cards, I guess, deviate off a little bit. So Prohibition is not used in the meta right now, but I put it on the list simply because it is a 1-card answer to a whole bunch of different cards. Let's go ahead and read his effect. Activate by declaring 1 card name. Cards with that name and their effect cannot be used. Cards already on the field are not affected, including face-down cards. So basically what it is that when you activate this, you call a card, and the cards with that name and their effects cannot be used. That's like, it's pretty much that simple. This card has been used in a lot of side decks to where if there's like a certain card that you don't want to deal with, I guess similar to how people use a pointer of the Red Lotus, to where you side in a pointer of the Red Lotus, you go first, and hopefully you get it so you can set it, so that way you flip it, look at your opponent's hand, and if they have like Dark Will or No More or something that'll stop your board, you just get rid of that before it even, before it gives you a problem. Prohibition, I guess, sounds like it should be better because you could just automatically activate it on your turn, declare the name. But the problem is, if they could destroy it with any kind of spell or trap card removal. So it makes more sense to kind of just like shotgun a trap, deal with it in the hand, because you're more worried about it in the hand. Yeah, this is just different Yu-Gi-Oh logic. But like I said, this card's on the list because, like I said, if in certain situations, in certain metas, this card's actually very good. To where if there's that 1 card that everyone's using that'll stop you, this is like that 1 card answer. The next card on the list I have is Magic Deflector. So I'm going to read its effect. For the rest of this turn, negate all equip, field, continuous, and quick play spell cards, quick play spell card effects on the field. So this right here is just a 1-card answer to almost every single spell card. Almost every, yeah, I guess technically Pendulum. But I don't know. I actually don't know what pendulums are considered right now. I never thought about that. We'll leave that for a different time. But yeah, so this is a 1-card answer to equip, field, continuous, and quick play spell card effects. this has been seeing a lot of extra play in the meta because of Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine is annoying, and kind of for the same reason as a pointer of the Red Lotus, to where you could just set it and you could shotgun the card. I mean, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, just the fact that, I mean, it stops field spells, so people probably would have ran it even if it didn't do the other stuff, just stop Mystic Mine. But it also works, like quick play spells, for example. Like a lot of people, if they play the going second splight cards, then the going second splight variant, you pretty much take out the starter, you take out the enemy controller. Those are really two good, good cards to keep them from being able to play. So yeah, so this card has more than just the use against one different deck. But yeah, so this card's seen a lot of play in the meta. Well, it has a lot of more uses than just using it against one card, Mystic Mine, but it is seen playing in the meta. And yeah, it is a pretty good side deck option. I gotta find one more. I found one. I need to find one other one. So at number 2, I have Dimensional Barrier. A lot of you guys probably saw this one coming. Everyone knows what this card does. Declare one monster card type, Ritual Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Pendulum. This turn, neither player can special summon monsters of the declared type. Also, negate the effects that face a monster on the field of the declared type while they are on the field. You can only activate one Dimensional Barrier per turn. Okay, so it's very self-explanatory. One card takes out almost the entire extra deck. This card came out before Links, obviously, so like doesn't we're not worried about that. But you got one card, and you got Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Pendulum. All those. Not only does it prevent them from special summoning those types of monsters, but also negates the effects of them face up on the field. It doesn't it isn't. Let's see. Yeah, it says face up on the field, so it isn't gonna stop stuff from activating in the graveyard. But this right here alone is a blowout card to a lot of different strategies. Tear Element. Unless they have Super Poly and you have viable targets on the on your side of the field or something. If you just shotgun this before anything, they most likely are not going to be able to play their turn. Splight. If you call XYZ, that that right there takes out not only the gigantic Splight, but also takes out the Toad, which they're very reliant. I'm playing Splight right now, so like there are other options, but taking out XYZs, you take out the Djinn, you take out the gigantic, you take out the Toad. This card right here is a blowout to 2 of the best cards in the format right now. It's a 1-card answer to a lot, and also a lot of other decks. So if you're not sure what to run and you're afraid of multiple different strategies, like you're like, oh, I want to stop, I want to make sure I hit Tear Element and Splight, but also want to make sure I have Sword Soul. I want to be able to stop the random Sword Soul. This right here stops the Synchro. Bam, it got you covered. Stops the Ritual. So if someone wants to run Drytron craziness, this will stop that too. So this is a very good card to have in your side deck right now. I'd recommend running it at 2. If not, I mean, it's not the worst card to not run, but in this format, it's very useful. And number 1, I have Crossout Destinator. So this is pretty much going to be kind of like the spirit of it's on here because of the spirit of Prohibition. It's basically Prohibition, but it's a quick effect. So we'll read it. Declare one card name. Banish one of that declared card from your main deck, and if you do, negate its effects as well as the activated effects on the field or cards with the same original name until the end of this turn. So this card basically allows you to chain to something, whatever you want to chain to, and then you can negate, and if you do, negate its effects as well as the activated effects on the field. So it'll allow you to declare one card name as long as you have that card in your deck. So it is like a bit of more of backdraw of Prohibition. You don't have to have anything in your deck to be able to use it, but in certain formats where like tier 0 or kind of this current format to where you'll be facing a lot of a certain deck, you can kind of tailor the cards you have to play this card, and it'll be a really big blowout. And if you don't want to do that, then all you have to do is just run common hand traps. If you run common hand traps, like if everyone's running Veiler, Infinite Impermanence, and Ash Blossom, then you also run those 3 cards and Crossout Destinator, and now you'll have a very decent answer to all those hand traps. But not only those hand traps, you also have the answer to the mirror match. So this card right here being one of the best one card answer to multiple different cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh right now, basically because it's a quick effect. That's it, guys. Thanks for stopping by on the channel. I'm going to have some more videos coming up soon. That's it for now. Peace out.